Hi there everyone, we're back at the British Horological Institute. Again, I'm here with Alan Midleton, clock expert. There are so many things on public display here in the museum. You could spend hours here, but today we're going to show you something very special because like any museum, there is a hidden backstage room where a few extra goodies are kept. And that's what you're going to show us today?
That's right, yes.
All right. This room is amazing. It is,
yes.
You must love coming in here. It's like a treasure chest.
I can spend all day in here, easily, yes.
Do you still find things that you didn't expect to find?
Yes. Each time I come in here, there's something else I've either forgotten or I rediscover, whatever.
Now, we could make a million videos in here, Alan. I even noticed there's a parking meter over there.
Well,
what's that doing in a clock museum?
Well, it is a timing device, and now obsolete. You don't find parking meters anymore, so it's the right place for it to be.
They don't make them like that anymore, do they? Brings back a lot of nostalgia.
Yeah, brings back awful bad memories, yes.
Bad memories? Okay, yeah, that's true. I guess when I was that age, I wasn't the one having to put the coins in. This is one thing that caught your eye. Can I lift this up?
Yes, you can, yes.
It's quite heavy. Yeah. What kind of clock is this? Is it a pretty standard one? Or?
It's pretty standard, what's called an English dial clock. It's made by a very famous company, Smith & Sons of the Strand. Inscribed there, it's officially used at the Bennett Cup race of 1903.
Now, the Bennett Cup, this is a motor race?
This is a motor race, yes, which took place in Ireland in July 1903.
Okay, and this is a big deal, this Bennett Cup, is it?
It was. Apparently it took place in different countries, and but when it came to return Britain to host it, our roads were too busy. Well, there wasn't enough space that could be closed off, so it was moved to Ireland, and the colours chosen were green to represent Ireland, which came British Racing Green, so that's when it first came in.
And that's why green is the colour associated with British motor racing. Should we think that maybe this was the actual clock that was taken over to Ireland, or was it like a branding deal?
No, I feel certain that was taken over to Ireland. It's in a sort of almost like a tin box. It's something rather very functional, so it was taken over there. The second sound is red to make it easily visible. I think this was used, part of the timing devices that were used.
So who knows, maybe even the winning time was timed on this clock.
Could have been, yes.
Let's keep having a little wander about. I feel like I want to stop and ask you about everything I see in here, Alan.
Carry on, because I'll see if I can remember what it is.
Okay, Alan, what's going on here? You've got a bit of a conservation project.
Oh, a long-term conservation programme. This is a Louis XVI clock. This is the case here, very badly damaged, but it is complete. We have all the parts in different boxes here.
Okay.
It's all there.
Where's the mechanism?
It's inside this box here. Yes. Oh, right.
Oh, so here's the mechanism.
Here's the mechanism here, which is very typical French of that period. And the interesting thing, though, is on the dial.
This is the original dial?
This is the original dial. It has the name of the maker, Causard. HGR, there's horologist or horologer.
That's the way of saying I'm an official horologist.
Yes, that's right, yes. But then it's all scrubbed out after that.
Yeah, and here as well.
I'm not certain what was down below, but up above it certainly was a clockmaker to the king, or maybe to the queen, in which case, when the French Revolution came along, that was quickly scrubbed out. You didn't want to be associated with the Ancien regime. It's obviously got dirty over the years, but when it was first done, possibly it wouldn't have been quite so noticeable.
Oh, so maybe it looked white originally,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
A bit of Tipex or something.
Well, yes, I think the owner wouldn't want that. Wouldn't want to be seen to have anything around associating himself with people who are having their heads lopped off. So I think he probably did it himself. Does
the fact this has been scrubbed out sort of add value and interest to you, or does it disappoint you that something's been ruined?
It adds huge interest. I don't think it would affect the value particularly, but great interest certainly. As
part of the restoration, is it likely that the king or queen's name will be restored, or will be left?
They'll be left like that.
So eventually that face and the mechanism will slide in here and be behind the glass? Or?
Yes, it will be in there and be working well, we hope.
We'll come back and do a video when they finish.
We'll leave it a few years.
All right. Now, Alan, you know I like all these clocks, and I could talk about these clocks all day, but what I really feel like seeing today is a piece of sheep gut. Do you have some?
I believe we have some, yes.
Come on then, let's go and have a look at it. One last thing. So we've got all sorts of drawers here with little bits of clocks and mechanisms and watches, and it's amazing all the things that are in here. But what we want to see is what's in this fourth drawer here.
Right.
What on earth are we looking at here?
Well, I regret to say it is a piece of sheep gut, and as it says on the label here, it was a line used on the Quardrangle Clock at Windsor Castle. The clock was made by Joseph Knibb, 1677, and then replaced by a very famous clockmaker called Valliamy in 1829. Now this, as I understand, is a quarter striking clock, so it's got 3 weights, and normally the way to hold the weight up would be a rope line. Later on, of course, came steel wire. But Valliamy was an unusual clockmaker. When he replaced this clock, he decided to use a larger version of what you find in all long case clocks. It's called catgut, but in actual fact it's sheep gut. But this is the rope made from gut used on the Windsor Castle clock. I understand that something like the intestines of over 1,000 sheep were used in order to create these lines. It seems to be a little bit over the top now, really, but how long they lasted, I don't know.
So Windsor Castle, very famous, obviously, these days it's the Queen's home, had a clock with weights in it in the quadrangle, and the weights were being held up with cord made from the intestines of sheep, of which this is a fragment.
That's a fragment, yes. One small section of over 1,000 sheep.
I don't know what to say.
Well, I don't know either. It's not something I would have chosen to use. But
what do you think about the fact it's here at the Institute?
Well, it's a part of history, so it's an important thing to keep. You know, the rest of it's probably all been thrown away. So we have something of the original line.
This is definitely the first video I have made about sheep gut. This episode of Objectivity was brought to you by 23andMe, the online genetic service that can help you learn what the 23 pairs of chromosomes that make up your DNA can teach you about your ancestry, traits, and health. To help with scientific research and discoveries and to learn your own personal DNA story, go to 23andme.com/objectivity.